Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Transformers Devastation on Prime difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty available, and we are currently on Chapter 3 of 7. It is entitled The Core, so I wanted to welcome everybody back to the project. And in my opinion, this chapter, it does have the hardest fight on it. Now, from one person to the next, whatever the hardest fight is for you will vary, but for me, it just takes the cake, that top-down perspective. And what I decided to do was I used a power booster which increases your attack power. I completed it very easily, felt bad about it, restarted the chapter, and came back to it, and then I did it without using items. But the thing about that is it's kind of ironic because the power booster itself is basically the same. It has the same effect as using stuff like melee in increasing tech or the all-in. Now, I equipped, well, let me just say this. There are 4 slots that you can buy, which is kind of a contentious issue for me since you get 4 slots, and what dictates and governs how many slots you can get is your rank. But like, you'll get 4 slots before you you fill out your rank all the way, and I thought it was kind of unfair because I spent a lot of extra money trying to see if I could get 5 by increasing the rank, but nothing ever happened. So I thought that was kind of unfair. But for a penalty, you can use something called the all-in tech ability to increase your attack power, and it increases the attack power of your melee and your overdrive, which is the ultimate attack. So it's very good, but the penalty, or the trade-off I should say, is that while you still can use healing items, any health that you find on the map that gets dropped or from smashing something, you can pick it up, but it's not going to fill you up at all. So it's kind of weird because you can still use healing items with the all-in, but you can't recover any HP from drops, which is kind of fine by me because on this section you really have to go all in anyway, so to speak, you know. And I also wanted to say that when you center the camera in this game, when you click it in twice or sometimes just once, it'll switch the shoulders instead of doing the center camera, which it has. So it has 2 functions, the right stick does. And there is a problem that I saw somebody mentioning. I think his name is, I know his name is Welch Truffaut from Germany. He's a long-standing subscriber, and he was commenting on another video and saying that after you get out of the vehicle mode and you aim, it doesn't aim. And I was experiencing that same problem. You have to click in the left trigger twice. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one having that problem. And it is a problem, and I think it should be fixed. So here's Thundercracker now. As you can see, he's kind of a bitch, but he is scripted to come back over here and touch down, and you can fight him. So you just have to kind of circle him around the city twice. But now we are coming on one of the hardest parts. Now, there's one saving grace to this fight that's coming up, is that they do at least give you a checkpoint. However, the spawns on Prime, they're different than Magnus, at least on this particular instance up here, because I know for a fact that on Magnus there is no hammer guy originally. So what we're looking at up here is several spawns of the ground troops, some shield enemies, which I would say ignore them, and then let's see, I think there's at least 9 hammer guys. Now, you never have to fight more than 5 at once, but Jesus Christ, 5 at once, man. 5 at once. So if you have that all in on, it's really going to help you to deal a lot of damage, especially with that ultimate, because you're going to see these guys die pretty quickly. And what I was thinking about was, even though I'm not using any of the items, it's still the same as using a power booster. What I'm doing is, so it's just kind of, what am I more comfortable doing? Using an item, which I said I wouldn't, or just going and using the tech in the normal way. I'm more comfortable And by the way, this is not the fight. This is nothing compared to what you have to do. And I think it's a matter of, it's the perspective that's hard, as well as all of the splashy effects of when these guys hit the ground. See all the rocks that come up? I have a very big problem seeing anything when all the rocks come up. So it's less about skill and more, it's more just about like you're like guessing when you're supposed to dodge. And I know that sounds kind of bad, but like if you can't see anything, how are you supposed to know when you need to dodge? And I have this character maxed to 99 on every category, even though you just saw that went up to like 95. It didn't save my data, but I have him up to 99 now. And it just doesn't matter. Oh yeah, here we go. So what you're going to be doing is driving back here now. Ignore anybody that you come across, because we're just going to get a checkpoint in a minute. Just ignore the bombshells. There's no reason to fight them. And the shrapnels. Just ignore them. And you will get a checkpoint after you... See, the problem also is having to carry the incendiary energon. So when you come over here, you're going to pick this up. You're going to throw it in the distance. And I'm almost certain that there's no hammer guy here on Magnus. I don't even know if there's these ground soldiers here. But the problem is you don't want to be hitting anywhere near those red blocks, because those blow up. Now, if you throw it in the distance and then shoot it with the sniper rifle, it will damage these guys. You've got to be very careful about it, though. And as far as I know, there's no way to manipulate this. But the really nice thing is they give you a checkpoint, but where they put you at the checkpoint is inexcusable, because you have to lug that energon to the fight every single time, only to die within a couple of seconds. And I really think it was the all-ins that saved me. And one of my friends that I mentioned earlier, Welt, he told me about the all-in, and it was something that I knew about, but I'm glad he kind of reminded me of it, so I wanted to thank him. But at least you get a checkpoint. So after mission 4 is done, you're going to be on mission 5, and there's nothing else to do now except to lug this over to the fight. We're also going to be skipping the guys with the shields. Now, sometimes they can get in a cheap hit on you, and if they do, I would just restart the checkpoint. But normally, like 9 times out of 10, I don't get hit over here. So, do you see what you have to do? You have to carry this over to the hammer guys every single goddamn time. And I would have 0 issues with this, save from the perspective a little bit, but if they just put the checkpoint right there, I would have no problems with this section, and maybe remove those balls because they get in the way. But here's 3 soldiers. Wait for them to make a first attack, and then go to town on them. And look, I'm dealing pretty good damage to them, although it's still, I wish it was a little bit more. But once you clear these 3 guys, see all the rocks that get in your way? You can barely see anything over here. And I didn't sign up to play this perspective either. So carry this, throw it in the distance, snipe it if you need to, or just fall back. Do a dodge, hit them a few times, and then when you get uncomfortable about anything, drop the ultimate. And look how much this is dealing with the all-in on. It's pretty damn good. But we took a swipe there, and they almost killed us. This is it's heart in your throat time. It's really stressful. Like, I wanted to break down and fucking start crying here because it's just so hard. It's excruciating. And watch, see, I'm going to grab that green stuff right there, that healing, and it didn't fill me up. That's because of the all-in, it doesn't fill you up. Okay, then after that fight, we're going to have a pretty quick transition into the Starscream boss fight. This guy has some torpedo-like moves, and on these later difficulties, these bosses are going to start blocking your attacks, so it's going to throw you off in a lot of instances, so you're just going to have to kind of adjust to it on the fly, which is something that you're going to develop when you start going through these difficulties. I like doing overhead chops in the air. It's kind of slow, as are the Y inputs, which is why I favor the X inputs over the Ys. But this guy is not much of a big deal. We will be doing another boss fight after the side view perspective sequence next on the bridge, and then in the next video that will be the bridge section. So we took a B rank on that, not too bad. Collect all of the loot, And then what you want to do next is head over to the bridge, go through the, what are those called? Chiron doors or something weird. And then we'll be chasing Blitzwing. So we're gonna be chasing him and then fighting him in the next stage. So as you can see, it says X and Y to attack. He does go into a tank at times, and then you can hit him in the air or on the ground if you like, or you can just shoot him. I think shooting takes more off, so that's what I do. But you'll have some other distractions to do. But he goes down pretty fast. I mean, he'll already be down by the time you do your first jump, probably. And then we'll transition right into the Blitzwing boss fight. This guy does a torpedo move too, just like Starscream, and it does a kind of like a confuse effect on you when it hits you, like an ice, like a frozen / confuse effect. Well, I wouldn't say confused. It's just you're frozen. I've never been confused by this guy, but he is wont to block, so take that into account. And you see me doing different things here, trying to vary it up a little bit, but he's pretty fast. But it's a boss fight that I actually quite enjoy. I like the music. He does have a grab too, so watch out for that. It takes off a lot of your HP, but a lot of the times they give you another chance by not killing you outright, which is very fair. But once he's done, well, we're done with the chapter. Take care.